Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North. In this video I'll be trying to save my Echeveria plant here. As you can see, it's no longer in the soil. What's happened is it's had a couple of infections and some of the base has rotted off, but it's now calyxed over, so I know that's safe. There's not going to be any more rot left in it. Other thing that's happened is it's had a lot of mealybug, so that's really stressed it out. I think it was a combination of mealybug and something going on with the root system which has caused it to die back like this. It used to have a lot more leaves, but it's lost a lot of the leaves recently. So what I'll be doing in this video is taking off any of the remaining leaves that are died on here, and I'll be very carefully looking to see if there's any more mealybug. I can just see one here, see if I can get it in focus on the camera. It's just that little tiny grey lump just next to my fingernail there. So I'll be carefully going around picking all of them off, and unfortunately there'll be probably quite a few stuck up inside the rosette here, so I might have to use some swabbing alcohol or something like that to kill off any remaining mealybugs. But otherwise it looks quite healthy. You can see it's got quite a nice rosette, it's not doing too bad. I'll also have to keep an eye out for red spider mite, because there was some red spider mite in the other plants that are in this trough, so I'll be making sure that the alcohol gets rid of that as well. And I'll then be potting it up in a pot probably about this deep to make sure it re-roots. So now I'm just going to go around, take all the leaves off and any existing mealybug. So I've now taken all the dead material off and I've treated it for any red spider mite and mealybug. That's why you can see it's not quite as white anymore. And the reason for that is with rubbing it with alcohol and also with soapy water, it washes off a lot of the waxy material on the leaves. So unfortunately it doesn't look as nice at the moment. You can see these two leaves did actually fall off, but because these are broken off nice and cleanly by themselves, these will make quite good cutting materials. So I'm going to stick these in the compost, just with the bottom bit there, just slightly under the compost or just on the surface, and that should root, and new small little plants should start to form just at the base here where it used to meet the stem. So I should get hopefully 2 new plants from that, and then I'll have the main plant here, which I should be able to save. And that's another great way of making cuttings of Echeverias. You can just pull off a leaf, make sure none of the leaf is left on the stem, so that you've got the bit that attaches right at the stem, because that's where the new growth comes from. And just put it in the soil and it should have some new babies coming along in a few months' time. So for this I'm just going to put it in a small pot for now, just because it doesn't have any roots. I need to put it to dry out quite quickly in between watering so it doesn't become waterlogged. The soil mix that I'm using here is a very free draining mix with lots of perlite added to make sure that there's not going to be any rot problems. So I'll just pot up a little bit of this in the bottom. Now because it's got a very long stem on it and I'm planting the stem quite deep, there could be quite a few issues with rot, so I'm making sure it's a very free draining mix so that the berry stem doesn't become rotted at all. Now if I was just to cut this off previously, I probably would have cut it off a bit higher and so the stem wasn't so large, but it's calyxed over nicely, so I'm quite happy to use that stem. So I'm just going to pop it in the middle here. So because it's quite a nice pointed shape, I'm actually going to be able to push it down. Normally I would probably fill it in from the outside, but it's quite a nice point, so it's going to go in easily. So there we are, that's it potted up. As you can see, there's a little bit of stem showing, but not much. I'm going to put this in a bright windowsill, but without any direct sunlight for now. Until the roots are really established, it doesn't need direct sunlight. If it gets a lot of sunlight, it'll probably dry out too quick before the roots can form. So it's just going to have bright light. What will happen is it'll soon grow roots. I'll just keep it quite dry until that happens. And as soon as I notice new growth starting to form, the new growth is a sign that the roots have established and the plant is about to take off. And at that point, I can give it full sunlight and I'll start watering it some more. So I'll give you guys an update of this in a few weeks' time, and hopefully you'll see there's some lovely new growth starting on it, and I'll see if I can get those other 2 leaves to root as nice new cuttings.